Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride. It's just enough Heshy. Wanna vote for Heshy? It's just enough Heshy. Join the crowd, it's messy. Wednesday night.
My producer, please come and take a look at my camera. See if you can fix it because you had it the wrong way. You got to make sure that everything is running smooth. Welcome, Instagram fans. Welcome, my YouTube fans. No, again, my son, it's the wrong way. Just turn it around the other way. Just take a look at the camera. Anyways, welcome, Instagram fans. Welcome, YouTube fans. Welcome, all my friends from all my radio station, WSNR Radio. Welcome. WN 620 AM Radio, WNEW 102.7 FM, HD3. And, of course, WJPR 1640 AM, Miami, Florida. Welcome to the show. We're starting the show a little early, Instagram fans, because it's a holiday. But for our YouTube and radio listeners, you are just starting on time. We had an interesting week. I'm going to tell you a bunch of things that went on. We have a new year. Happy New Year to all of you. Happy Hanukkah to all of you. Welcome all my fans that will show up on the show. I won't be doing the chat today. But we have a great future that's coming up. We have a great year. We have the opportunity now to take on so much that we can accomplish so much this year. We already know all the faults. We know what's going to happen. We know that the mayor is going to be announcing tomorrow, supposedly, the election date. From inside gossip, I hear that the election will take place on March 25th. So while I'm running this election, I'll have to do a second election. I hear because Carmen Yeager and Simcha Felder don't have enough time to set up, so they're postponing it. But I'm happy because I won't be able to be ready for Friday and Thursday signatures, but I'm going to try. Yesterday, I was invited to the NYPD showroom event. I wasn't really invited. I got an invite, but I crashed. They didn't want to invite me. They only invited Simcha Eichenstein, who's been playing both sides of the game, and he's a friend of mine. A friend of mine playing political game. Carmen Yeager shows up, his last day in office. He wouldn't shake my hand. He walked by. He says he said hello. He didn't say hello. I have it on video. At the end, he came over. He said hello, and we shook hands. So, and then they went over to one of my competitors illegally, telling him to drop out of the race so I should only run against Felder so Felder can beat me. This is backdoor dirty politics, and I'm going to win. So I want you to see on your screen, and a lot of you radio fans are going to hear, the HeshyTishler.com website. I need your help. HeshyTishler.com. It's not complicated. Contribute $10, $20. You can only contribute up to $175. I get matching funds. Now, the mayor lost his matching funds, but HeshyTishler.com. It's going to be updated, the website. We're slowly updating it even more with more videos and pictures. Donate to me. I'm ready to rock and roll. January 2nd is when the election is going to be announced. I think the date is March 25th. I was hoping for it to be February 28th or March 1st. But whatever happens, HeshyTishler.com. Let's be ready to rock and roll. The other commercials that I do for people, I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, but if you want to email me, contact me, JustEnoughHeshy, JustEnOugh @gmail.com. I want to start my show simply, very simply. Once the screen is cleared with my HeshyTishler.com, we're going to talk about my quote. And the reason I have this quote for all of you is simple. Here it is. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise you it won't be boring. You are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. And no matter how hard the past, you can always begin again. And the reason I'm quoting this to you all, these quotes, is I dream. I will never give up my dream. People say, why do you continue? You never give up. Why should I give up my dreams? Why should I give up helping other people? Why should I give up doing the right and good for other people? And it's not only me I'm talking to, I'm talking about you guys. Don't give up. Never stop dreaming. Don't be happy where you are. And yes, I'm 61 years old on January 29th. Time flies, things that have gone by me. But you know what? I'm the pilot. I'm the guy who controls this flight. I know it's going quicker, but I'm going to control it, and I'm going to make sure it goes and heads and lands in the right direction. And yeah, I've had bad times. You know, this Chief Madry, who had to resign now because of sexual allegations against him by the lady Ingrid, the mayor's deputy, who accused him. And also I heard that he was also accused of molesting or having some kind of a relationship and with another woman. And that was in 2015. And what happened was he ended up pleading guilty to a few of the crimes. And the beautiful part of it was all he got was 45 days vacation, time punished. Wow. Now, when they came after me, they took away all my licenses for nothing. They came after me, they took away all my money. Chief Madry pleaded guilty to sexual harassment and assault. He also has other allegations. Had to resign. Why? Because if he gets found guilty, he can even lose his pension now. And he made a deal and nothing happened to him. It's an inside game. And another point I'm trying to make to you is this lady with the overtime, now they're checking into the internal affairs. Do you know, according to what my numbers are, is that over $1 billion in overtime pay or supposedly went to, that means 1/8 of our police budget went for overtime pay? Do you know how many more cops, how many more hours how many more shifts, how many more people we could have had on the police force? Misuse of budgeting, misuse of funds. Nobody's looking into it. Anyways, we'll talk about that. I want to tell you about my joke. As you all know, I'm trying to lose weight. And I just started working out. Just started 2 days ago. And I told Linda, my wife, for many years, I'm making a New Year's resolution. And she says, what is it? I said, honey, I think I took on too much for a beginner. So I decided to break out my workout. She says, Linda says, oh, wow. And how is this new workout going to be divided up? So I replied to her with a smile. I said, half me, half you. Come on. That was funny. That was real funny. Anyways, I thought it was funny. I want to tell you about this lady that was burnt on fire. And I made a little mistake, and I posted a picture. But either way, it was still news. Some lady was cooked on fire, lit on fire in the trains, and nobody did anything to help her. Police walked by, people videotaped and laughed, and I call it the Daniel Penny effect. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to tell you some more stories about people being pushed in the train and we're not helping them. People being stabbed on the train. We're scared to help people because we'll get in trouble if we stop them. And Daniel Penny is a hero. Daniel Penny, thank God he was found not guilty. This city would have erupted in fire. And what I found out about her name is, she was from Toms River, New Jersey. I just had it over here. And where is it? Somewhere here. But she was a homeless woman. But they're not sure. But they found her through dental records and through DNA testing who she was. They could have told us a little quicker about it, but they didn't. You know what I mean? They just want to always keep us on our toes. So I'm sorry I don't have her name, but her name was released recently. And where is it? It's somewhere here, but who cares? But she was a woman that was sleeping on the train, and that's another issue. We have homeless. The mayor gets out. People shouldn't be sleeping on the train. Where should they sleep, Mr. Mayor? Why haven't you solved that homeless issue in 3 years that you promised? You're going to take them off the streets. You're going to create better housing for them. You've created a lot of low-income housing. You're giving a lot of these landlords, like Maimonides Hospital just sold to 2 developers that somehow gave Kalman, I don't know what donations they gave Yeager and the board, and they approved the low-income homeless housing in my community. I don't see the low-income homeless housing in my community being given to them. It's being given out to different people. We have an opportunity with so much a place. You're making smaller apartments in Manhattan, less than the 450 required square feet, legal. You're changing the zoning laws to allow us to build our buildings places so we can build more housing. Why don't you use those empty spaces on First Avenue? Why don't you used warehouses to put migrants in there? Let's create these warehouses into more safer with second means of egress, and instead of housing 100 of them, let's house 5 families. 6 families. It's just a way to suck more money from the city, to give it to these private people. I don't agree with this. There's a way to stop the homeless housing. There are issues on how to fix driving and parking. You don't have to listen to Governor Hochul. She is lying to you about congestion pricing. Under Simcha Felder, who was councilman 12 years ago, or a little bit more, he was the guy who allowed congestion price to come. It took 12 years for this bill to pass. So I'm just trying to explain to you, look how everything happens in this city unless somebody's getting something. Now, this congestion pricing, they lowered it to $9. But we know that it's going to be raised to $15. We know that it's going to be raised to $19. We know that. It's already planned out beforehand. New Jersey suing us, plus they're saying there'll be more congestion in the Bronx and in Queens because people are going to try to go all around. So you're not saving anything. You're just making congestion in other places. Your Manhattan, where Governor Hochul has an office, she's trying to save. This is just stupid. Congestion pricing should be stopped completely. I don't know how I'm going to stop it when I get into city council, but I'm going to try to pass a bill. Now they're saying everybody's got to have an easy pass. Why? But when you're driving down Ocean Parkway or a red light camera ticket, boom, it catches your plate. Not only does it catch your plate, it sends you by the mail exactly. I understand. Same thing with the tolls. Why do we have to start putting up this tolls? We know, put up your little cameras. We don't need Easy Pass. Give us the discount without Easy Pass. Give us the discount. If you have Easy Pass is not needed anymore. It was needed when it came out. It was a cool thing. Now we don't need that whole agency. Thousands, millions of dollars is being paid out for Easy Pass. Now you just have the cameras and automatic billing and set up a whole new agency. So I was at this police candlelighting Hanukkah event the other day, and they were all thanking the police, how great they are, and I do, and I really do like the police, and they, it's our safest neighborhood, they were saying, in town. So let me just read you our end of the year crime statistics from the police, the safest neighborhoods. Or all of New York. I was watching TV, and they said crime is down by 20%. I promise you, today, stabbings is down. The mayor said murders are down. Let me give you the numbers that everything is down. Here's the 2024 final numbers. Well, it's not really final, but they're pretty close. Murder in New York City for 2024, 690 murders. I think they were down like 200. 690 people murdered. 1,736 rapes. Now, I'm not talking about transit rapes. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about that's reported. 17,000 rapes in New York City. Rapes. 16,822 robberies. Felony assaults, 27,828. Burglaries, 13,750. Grand larcenies, 70,650. And grand larceny assault, another 16,000. Now, I'm not even going to talk about petty larceny, 10,000. Retail theft reported 70,000. UCR, that's uniformed confirmed rapes, another 2,400. Shootings, just plain shootings, 1,200. Shootings hate crimes, 1,639. Now, there's a hate crime unit in Borough Park, chief there, and I know when they came after me, I never saw this guy. I said hello to him, very kind of you. He never came. They never did anything. They never prosecuted the guy. Only when he attacked some other people and the attorney general got in charge. So hate crimes is really against when we fight back. You have a man in Virginia that was just arrested by the FBI for having guns and 150 bombs. Now, his defense lawyer says, well, nobody said he was doing anything with the bombs, and there was no motive for him to use the bombs, and he had the guns, so nothing should happen to him because he didn't have motive to do it, or something could happen. You know, we have a terrorist cell in New Orleans. Recently, a man just crashed into 10 people on New Year's. Then they saw a lady and two other guys placing bombs or some kind of trigger devices to go off in the area. They found them all. We have this by allowing these Palestinians to protest, or these other people that are not even part of the Palestinian organization. You're allowing them to promote hate. Hate crimes. You're allowing it to promote hate America, burn the flags. Now they're scared to say that now because they'll be shut down more quicker, and they can place bombs. They're telling other people to hate coming into Jewish neighborhoods. If you want to protest, go before the mayor's office. Go before the consulates. Go before the White House. Coming into Jewish neighborhoods to protest because we believe something different? Coming in to attack us by our homes and our workplaces because you want somebody to counter-protest and fight back? We can do that by the White House, by the consulates, by the United Nations, by the police stations. You're coming in to cause damage, and our police allow it without a permit. Our mayor allows it. Our governor allows it. The city council allows it. You people allow it. When I go to these counter-protests, there's maybe 100 or 200 counter-protesters, maybe sometimes more. Why isn't everybody out there stopping these crazies? And they wear masks. And just to continue on with the mask part of all of this, is I'd love to tell you about the best part of it, is that now you don't hear anything about COVID anymore. Yeah, come for your COVID shot. But right now they're promoting the flu shot, the flu shot, the flu shot. I just want to show you how right I was. The flu is back. COVID is over, so we have to find some other way to promote these fake shots. I used to take the flu shot because my kids forced me to, because they said, oh, you can't see the babies. I'm not taking the flu shot anymore. The hospital requires it. I might have to take it, but I don't want to take it. It doesn't seem to be a real thing. I understand the polio vaccine. I understand mumps. I understand chicken. I understand these things if it can keep it away. And even then, when you get the shot, they say that if you get it once, I know that when I got that shot when I was a kid for chickenpox and mumps, I got chickenpox right away, like 3 days later. So they're saying, yeah, it had the disease, it pushes it out, and then you don't get it anymore. So I said, what difference does it make how I catch it? I'm telling you, there's something wrong with these vaccines. Something is wrong with the game they're playing. There's no way that billions but trillions of dollars is being submitted to these pharmaceutical companies. You're right, we need them to create the cough medicines, the lower medications, and so on. So to keep them busy, we give them more viral things. And I can't believe that, I'm so happy that RFK is going to go in there and investigate. I hope he does his job right, and I hope he stands on top of it. I was today by a protest for a family, for a young girl, Elisheva, that she finally got her divorce. And people are upset that I went there. I'm there because I don't agree with fighting over stupidity. The man had to give his wife a divorce. He finally gave her a divorce. Now he's in court suing for the custody and full custody of a baby. You already have an agreement worked out. The kid is shared. If it wasn't shared, I understand. but they constantly keep battling. The young man called me today, says, well, you don't know the whole issue, there's a gag order. My issue is that you're divorced. You have an agreement. I don't know if you're paying child support, if you're not paying child support. I don't know if you're paying, some of these guys who pay child support don't pay enough. Now, I'm not saying they can or they could. If you can't, I understand it. But everybody has to take care of the children. My children get in trouble, I help them. Even if I don't have money, I give them my last dollar. That's why you have a child. Just don't ask for visitation and custody if you can afford. That's my opinion. You can say whatever you want, Heshy, you're wrong. I'm not wrong. It's wasting our time in the courts over this stupidity when you were married. Don't be fighting over this stupidity. Usually the wife takes the husband to court for child support and stuff like that. Here, the husband is taking the wife because he finally gave a divorce, and he says, well, the rabbis are in charge. Rabbis are not in charge. They're not qualified. We have psychologists, people that are more qualified to see if the child can go back and forth. If you want to spend all that money, having a judge who's anyways going to hire a forensic psychiatrist, waste more of everybody's money on both sides. So yeah, I'm saying that this was abuse in the courts. Abuse. I've seen, right now, Fannie Willis, the Attorney General from Georgia, is suing and trying to get back on the case to go after President-elect Donald Trump. It's over. Do you know how many millions of dollars she's going to spend to try to get back on this case? Let's forget about the money that she's wasting from Georgia and her district attorney's office or private funding. She's wasting our courts' time. She's backlogging our courts. She's wasting our judges' time over a dumb thing that's already been ruled on. She's appealing. Stop it. That's why our court cases take longer. I was evicting somebody that really abused the system with me. And I really don't evict anybody. And what they did was instead of paying their rent for a year, that we went to court, finally after a year, she paid 2 months' rent. And she said she paid November and October. I said, but what about the last 10 months before that? Well, we just started now. We'll try to catch up. I don't understand. What does that mean? I'm crediting the first 2 months. You're still 10 months late in payment. Let's make a deal. So finally, we made a settlement payment, and she hasn't kept to it. She didn't even make the next payment. Now, explain this to me. Now we have to go back to court next month to be re-adjourned, to be rediscussed, because we put the whole case on hold, so there's no trial because she made a settlement agreement. Our courts are sloppy. We need a change. We need somebody in city council to scream and holler. I'm not going to make it boring. I'm going in there. I'm going in there to fight. I hope you guys come out to vote for me. People saying, Heshy, you don't have endorsements from the rabbis. So you're going to hear some endorsements that are going to be coming out by me. But you know how many of the people, and I'm talking out to my local community, of the bub of a sect that don't really support me, I've helped hundreds of your people. From the Mushalus to the Belzer people, I help homeowners no matter who you are, what race, what color, what religion, what sexual prelude that you're into. My job is to help you no matter what. And I've helped thousands. And I'm not pitching to you, but you want to follow the leadership, follow your own common sense on who is the best qualified candidate, who has been there to pick up your calls on the dumbest things, no matter what. Me. Nobody else. Simcha Felder has got a name. What name? That he sits in the Senate and one day he's on the Republicans and one day he's on the Democrat side? On November 27th, there was a gentleman by the name of, what's his name? I wrote it down. His name was Kanaga. He was the bodyguard. He was the corrections officer or the security to watch Adolf Eichmann in his jail cell. Nobody knew about him for 40 years. Akman was an evil man. He was the Hitler's final solution who killed most of the Jews. And when they captured him, the Israelis, and brought him back to Israel to hang him, this gentleman, Mr. Kanigar, He lost both his parents. He was an orphan at 6 and 8 years old. He emigrated to Israel when he was 12, and he became a soldier. And he was the CO, or the corrections officer, to watch this Eichmann. Now, they didn't want any crazy fanatical Jewish people to come and kill Eichmann, even though he was a murderer. They didn't want the Germans or some non-person or people to kill Eichmann, because they didn't want the Jews to get satisfaction. So they put Mr. Eichmann in a cell. And I heard this from a rabbi. They put him in a cell with 5 cells. They gave 5 cells. They put him in the center cell, this murderer, evil, wicked man. What was the thing? He was the most evil person in the world. And he was put into a cell and watched so he wouldn't hang himself or nobody would kill him. And they had 5 guards watching him. And they said that and they even had this guy, Mr. God, taste his food for poison. And the guy says, why should I taste this murderer's food? They said, if you die, we can always replace you. But if Eichmann dies, we can never replace this murderer, and we want him to hang. When he died, this soldier cremated Eichmann's body and spread his ashes into the ocean. Thank God that there's no even existence of this evil man. And this good man died, and when they wanted to interview him, and the funny part is they wanted him to come to a studio. And he said, no, I'm not going to come to the studio. I want you to come to my synagogue, and I want you to see me pray. And they said, well, it's a comfortable studio. Nobody will interrupt us. He says, no. So they came down. They videotaped him. They asked him a lot of questions. And they asked him at the end, why would you do it over here and not in a private studio? He said, I wanted the world to see that the Jews not only are spiritually back, but physically back. We fought back from our prayers to raising our families and people. And I'm not talking about only the Jews. I'm talking about America in itself and Israel. We are the leaders of showing the people how to come back. Now, let's not waver. Let's not allow them to take it away from us. Usually the government comes up with a problem. Then they come up, we're in trouble, so we ask for a solution. They give us a solution, so we give up some of our freedoms. Let's not waver. 250 years we fought for this country. We're at the right place right now with the right president at the right time. We can make this country so great right now. You know, I went to fill up my gas today, Melinda. Costed me $60. They're saying oil and gas prices are down. Maybe it used to cost me $70. It's down $10. Eggs are $5 for a dozen eggs. $5 for a dozen eggs. Wow. And people are going to shop it cheaper. I'm not talking about when I'm making my juices. The fruits and vegetables up. Now you're all saying, Heshy, it's $2, $3, but they all add up. Add that up over 7 days. Add that up over 4 weeks or a month. Add that up over 12 months. You're going to see an extra $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Forget if you go out to a restaurant or takeout. That's up as well. Have no choice. You're losing an extra $2,000, which could be a month's rent. Anyways, goodbye, Mr. Eichmann, and our friend that passed away on November 27, to our wonderful hero, Mr. Najjar. Thank you for destroying that man, being his executioner, being the executioner of Satan, because I believe that this guy was Satan or the son of Satan, this Adolf Eichmann. But I want you to know, in each generation, he said, we proclaim we will not die and we will live. And this message is for all of you. I will make life as better for my family, and I will try to help New York City and my fellow friends. I'm not pitching you anything. I'm telling you for a fact what my goals are, what my future looks like in this brand new year of 2025. We waited so long for it. We struggled through 4 years. We saw 2 years of campaigning. We knew when President Trump lost. And now we know. Everybody says, well, the election wasn't false. There wasn't stolen. I don't know. I mean, you're right. Well, however the election came about, President Biden became President Biden, whether it was stolen or not. The point is he was confirmed by a bunch of idiots that had no right to do it. But again, people, you see there was ballot fraud. You see it. We see videos of it. We know about it. We see it today. In my own election with Kalman Yeager, I know for a fact 40 young people went in to vote illegally. 40. I know of the fake paper ballots because nobody got these ballots. I don't know how he got them. I beat him in the election by 1 vote, and somehow he showed up with the 28 paper ballots. So there is election fraud. There's election insiders. I know they play with the inside, the Republican, the Democrats. I don't believe that anybody I think that a person to run the poll site should not be a Republican or should not be a Democrat. It should be an independent person who should be registered as an independent, not as a Republican, not as a Democrat. It's not right to have our parties controlling our poll sites or telling us who will run the poll site. I think it's wrong. Having a whole Republican team. I'm telling you that the head of the Republican committee in Brooklyn, called all the people and told all the people at the poll sites, only tell everybody who to vote for. You have no right to tell somebody who to vote for. You can tell somebody who you should vote for, who's the best person. The person should say, vote for me. They're telling people this is who you should vote for. I'm hoping the election is straight. Donald Trump beat her by 5 to 7 million votes. I'm hoping that this election is watched. I think the people know me. I think they know we're watching. I'm hoping it's a fair election, and I'm hoping to win. It's not Kalman Yeager, who's a cheat. It is Simcha Felder, and I think he's not the brightest man on the planet. He knows how to play the court games and hire the lawyers. He's been around the political game a long time, but I think I can beat him. And I think that we're good to go. By the way, I want to tell you about a Hanukkah miracle. There's a guy by the name of Joseph Linsky. He was pushed onto, and this is part of my crimes. Here's a guy that was shoved onto the train. Crime is down. I mean, transit crime. I mean, why aren't the police there? Every day, there's 2 separate stabbings yesterday on the train station incidents. There's a guy by the name of Kamal Hawkins. He was charged in the random New York City subway pushing of Joseph Linsky. He was shoved onto the tracks. The number 1 train in Chelsea drove over him. He should have been dead. It's a miracle he's not. He had a fractured skull, 4 broken ribs, and a ruptured spleen. And they say he's going to get better. That is a miracle. People shoving. And they know, and by the way, the police knew who this guy was. He's done this before. He's at violence. Why is his picture? You know, when I had a problem with my Monterey's hospital, why did they put a picture and they put me on all over the place? Why can't we have pictures of all these crazies? I know there's a lot of them, but if the police know about him, the neighborhood he stands in, watch for him. You know he's going to commit another crime. Here, it gets better. There's a guy, you know, maybe Biden will pardon him. He killed his grandmother when he was 14 years old. Killed his grandmother. Lots of violence, lots of crimes throughout the years. And right now, he strangled his girlfriend. So he is now being charged with second-degree murder. And he made a deal, and I think he got 18 years. So he killed his grandmother, let him out of jail, committed lots of violence, strangled his girlfriend now, and instead of being put in jail for life, he's going away for 18 years. But if you do some kind of tax fraud or make a mistake on your taxes and don't submit it, you can get 5-6 years, or if you don't pay it, they take away your passport and you can go to jail. Really, I've seen people go to jail. 10 years, 12 years. Here, you kill your girlfriend, just, commit the tax fraud, kill somebody, and you'll get out faster. No, don't do that. That was stupid, what I just said. Don't do that. By the way, the girl that was killed, the relationship that our NYPD was having an affair with, her name was Tabitha Foster, with chief of the police officer, Jeffrey Madry. Here's my question to you. I understand that you can't have relationships within the police force or any kind of unit. But if you're going to have a relationship, get married. having this 2 apartments sex thing or overnight buddies is not good. Either be committed to a marriage where you're stuck. That I agree to. If you're in the police force, do it. But Chief Madry, just to have a relationship while you're married or have a girlfriend, I don't agree to that. I don't agree. The FBI is hunting for these 3 men and the 1 woman planting these IEDs around the city. You believe the FBI is going to find them? When they want to find you, look, they found this guy who killed the healthcare guy, right? Right? Luigi Mangiori, whatever his name is. They found him right away, but it was by mistake or pictures. You must have had cameras there. You know the ladies there. How come you didn't produce the pictures? How come you're not showing us who these cells are that planted bombs to kill people? Now, they are on high alert in Washington that there might be a terrorist attack by the inauguration. By the way, I'm going to the inauguration. Anybody that wants to come, I'm getting 100 tickets supposedly on January the 3rd. So next week's show, I'm going to, if I have the tickets, I really want you guys to email me at justenoughheshy@gmail.com, and I will get you the first 100. Well, I'm going to take 10 tickets myself. Me, the guy, the 3 people that are coming with me in the car. I got to give it to my Republican Tea Party Club, 6 of them. So I have about 90 tickets to give away. I'm going to give a couple to schools and special needs kids. But call me, and the first group of people that call or email me at justenoughheshy@gmail.com, I will mail it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to even pay for your mailing. I'll get it delivered and brought over to you. President, before we end the show, President-elect Trump, and he's right about this, that he wants to go after all those people that allowed President Biden to continue. We all, the whole America knows the man was lost it. You have a man that has no idea where he is half the time. You're right. Some of the time he was clear. He wasn't completely senile, but he was losing it. We saw it. How do you have him running the country? So you know it wasn't him. You know it was Pelosi, and you know it was all those other people around there. So President Trump is going after Nancy Pelosi, Alejandro Mayorkas for lying from the Homeland Security, every last journalist that played the game that, oh, Biden is good. You should have showed more pictures and more responses when he lost it in the questions. I mean, you saw the way he slurred his words and spoke. I mean, a guy who came to work for me like that every day would be fired, or I'd ask him to retire. Look at me, vibrant, talking, going. This man stood in front of hundreds of millions of people on camera, and you heard the way he spoke. Half the time he lost his thought, always saying, well, I lost my thought. That's how you have a president of the United States talking. He has the papers. He has the machines up there to read from, the prompters. And still, you saw that he was incoherent. And we allowed him to lead this country. So you know that it's really not the president always that's not running the country. It's that whole team, and he's got to pick a good team. And I know Trump now has got a good team that he's watching and controlling. Come on. President Trump got a little angry on the election, and all of a sudden they wanted to say he's crazy. He's not crazy. We see he's not crazy. We see the charity he's giving. My president, who I voted for, President-elect Trump, I'm so happy. My funds that I have to collect for my election get matching funds. And I had to go through many audits. And even with my competitor, Mr. Felder, complaining that I'm using the funds illegally, which I never got. Mr. Felder has sent out, he's announced to be a candidate. He has about $300,000 in his Senate committee. He's not allowed to use it for city council. It's illegal. And he's now sending out mailers. Don't you think that even though he's doing it on the gray area, that he's really only writing what he's did as senator? Don't you think that is a conflict of interest? Now you're running for councilman. You can say what you did in the past, but you can't send out mailers from that fund. You have to use the new fund, which you didn't get the money yet from. And he went out and ratted me out. So the mayor who has done something, he hasn't even been found guilty. They now have taken away his matching funds, which means he can lose $4 to $6 million, and I've already told you about that already. But it's not only that he's going to lose that, he has $10 million that he might have to pay back from his last campaign. I like the mayor. He's a nice man, but he plays the political game. He came into Borough Park, was walking around with a bunch of Republicans, walking around and making believe like he went to the BPJCC. This is the Borough Park Jewish Community Council, which got $280,000 to run an event that only costed $100,000. Of course, they wouldn't invite me. Again, last time I snuck in when the mayor was there, and I caught on to it. These guys have somehow found a way to suck our politicians, or the politicians are playing them. It's one of the organizations I'd like to shut down, the BPJCC. And my community board, which has Barry Spitzer on there, which should have run against me, you're fired. The first person I fire you. The first person. Who are you to decide who should run for councilman and who should not? You're a community board guy. You're supposed to be helping the people. You're going to run for city council. Don't tell us who to run and who not to run. Simcha Felder actually called my rabbi and told me not to run. Don't run. Kalman Yeager runs unopposed. Simcha Felder runs unopposed. It's a game. Simcha Eichenstein is going to run, who's my friend, running unopposed. I think if I get into city council, I'm going to have to stop that. I'm going to talk to a lot of people. I'm going to make friends. And we're going to put up competitors. And I'm not talking fake competitors, real competitors. Real people to give everybody an option. They just go out and talk and have events. They don't do anything. I really don't see them doing anything. Simcha Eichenstein's office does do, but the other ones don't do. Zero. Half your city council members do zero. Complain about nothing. How do you allow $1 billion in overtime without overseeing it? How do you allow the DOB, the Department of Buildings, to go after all us homeowners, vacate us, throw us out, and then allow the big people to get all their jobs passed? Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong, that they shouldn't have passed, but they should be going through the same hard sequences as us. But they have the money to hold out while we don't. Laws have to be changed. The DOB has to be changed. They have to be wiped out. All those commissioners fired has to be changed. We have to rehaul everything from the top. The DOB, the HPD, the police force. I'm hoping Tish does something about it. I'm going to call her in. You only made 1 or 2 selections? Why isn't your whole administration being changed? Personnel. Why aren't you downsizing or putting people more on the street? What are you doing about the overtime pay? I haven't heard any solutions from her yet. She took over a job, and she's stuck with it. The next holidays that's coming up are the Passover holidays. And the reason I'm bringing it up so early is we now had Hanukkah and Christmas at the same time. Wasn't that great? 2 different religions celebrating the same time, no issues, and yet Kwanzaa, but everything was done. Presents, sales were up. Do you know that 990 million Americans traveled this year, the TSA says? More traveling, more money spent. But still, New York City cannot get enough tourists in here. May I ask you why? Why is our tourists down? Why is our revenue down? That's why we have to raise our taxes. That's why we have to go after our people, torture our citizens, our residents, our homeowners, our tenants. You know, some business tenants have to pay a tenant tax on their businesses where they're renting. It's crazy. We're not covered. And our hospitals are losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I go to the hospital, it's packed. How is that possible that a hospital to lose $200 million? Either the insurances are paying or they're not paying. So if they're not paying, then the city or the state has to fund it. We have to do healthcare. We have to have hospitals in local areas. We have to take care of our local citizens and residents. But if you're getting all that millions and millions of dollars from the insurance and from the people that you're billing, and I know I get a bill when I walk into that hospital, $500 for a blood test. A blood test. They stuck me for 8 minutes, sent it in for a blood evaluation. They got the results the next day, $500. Now, sometimes my insurance company pays for it, and sometimes not. And sometimes I have to pay the difference. It could be $35, plus I pay the co-payment and $125 additional. So there was $300 sent to the hospital. There was $400 sent to the urgent care. Urgent cares are not losing money. They don't have the kind of business the hospitals have. Hospitals are doing operations. That could be $80,000 they collect, and they're losing $145 million. So, I want to tell you before I close out, Mr. Felder was fighting the hospital with us. Then it looks like he switched sides. Either he got money or he got told that he will get money, or I'm not saying he got bribed. I'm not making any major allegations, but something is funny. And when he was in the Senate, one day he was on the Democratic side, then he was on the Republican side. Then he went back to the Democratic side. So the Republicans are grateful that when they needed him, he was able to switch sides for temporarily. He's a player. He doesn't stick to his guns. You're right. If the Republicans are wrong, I will vote with the Democrats. If the Democrats are wrong, I'll vote with the Republicans. I am a Republican, but the point is we need to pass bills. We need to oversee the right thing. Not because you're a Republican, not because you're a Democrat. I'm not going to vote for a bill because some idiot brings it up. It's got to make sense. And if it doesn't, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stand there and scream and holler. They want me to be more calmer. When I went to the police function yesterday, oh, Heshy, you look more calmer. You haven't been making noise. And then when I come out, I meet a lot of my constituents. Heshy, we haven't heard a lot of noise out of you. Well, I'm sorry. There's no reason to make noise if there's no noise that needs to be made. I make noise on my daily job and the local community stuff. But I'm not going to protest. I'm going to fight protests. I'm going to go to when somebody abuses a woman. I've been against women abuse always. You don't abuse a woman. If you're not happy with her, that's why we have an out in the religions, the Jewish religion, the Christian religion. There's a divorce. We give you an out. Give a divorce. Don't just hold it back because you hate her or she hates you. There's a rule for divorce. If anybody wants a divorce, they have a right to get it the next day, whether they're wrong or right. Divorce is divorce. That's an out that we have when we give you marriage. It shouldn't be something to be held against or go through courts to see if you could be divorced. You want out, I want out. Our show is ending. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah to you all. And my blessing to all of you is that this year should be a successful year. This year should be a healthy year for all of you. Find a way to make yourself better. Now, I can't heal the people with cancer or COVID or fake COVID or the flu, but there are solutions. I know there are solutions. Sure, you have to go to your doctor. Sure, you have to take the medicines. Sure, you have to take the shots. Sure, you have to go to dialysis. You've got to do that. But there's other healings. There are other methods. And with the research today and with the internet, there's no excuse you can't find a way to get better. You have to go out to work every day. You can educate yourself. You know, some people tell me, why should I go to school? Why should I get my master's or bachelor's? It doesn't do anything for me. Incorrect. Education, whether you once you get that degree, it produces you a higher salary instead of you going on welfare or disability. I know people, like half of these people are disabled, or they're getting disability and they're not disabled, or they're suing you. I have a guy who fell in front of my building, and he decided to sue me for I think $5 million or $2 million. And I see him every day. He says, "Oh, look at my hand." Stop it. You slipped and fell. I got it. You want to sue. You want a settlement. But they pick $1 million. Then he goes on disability. You know, I had a fight with a sanitation worker about, 5 years ago. And she was giving everybody tickets. Everybody. And I was screaming at her. And I stopped her. And right by my building, she came and there was nothing she could have given me a ticket for. I sweep, I clean, it's perfect. She saw a box that somebody took from outside, a box, and left it by my front, right in front of the building, not on the curb. She gave me a ticket, And as she posted it to my window, because I wouldn't accept it, I ripped it off. And there was like 30 people around, 15 witnesses. I ripped it off the wall and I tore it up. She claimed I touched her hand. Her hand, then she came back with ice that her hand blew up, which we did not see it. She made a claim to the police that I assaulted her. I ended up getting 15 witnesses, black person, a Muslim person, a Jewish person, all to swear that I never touched her, came close to her, walked away from her, did nothing wrong. She even said the word effing Jew. And they made me go through the system, and it cost me, I think, $7,500 plus other monies and court dates, and they could have put me in jail for a year for that assault. Right away the next day, she filed a lawsuit and filed to go on disability because her hand was touched and it blew up. Disability. Ended up that the sanitation chief, after he came after me, then apologized and they fired her from the unit. She didn't even work there for a few months. But the first thing a city worker knows, get injured, boom. So that's why they tell our inspectors, if you see a sign, beware of dog, don't go on the property, because if you know that you could be attacked or disabled, you won't get your disability. So guys, to keep these people illegally off your property, put up a sign, no trespassing, beware of dog, and they'll still come on, some of these zealous DOB people that want to give you violations. They go out and violate you. You know, I had a fire in a building, and not me, one of my clients, and they came down, they issued 20 violations. They sent somebody back, and we passed every inspection, the building was opened up. 2 days later, a lady firewoman came in. I said, there's nothing here. She came in. I said, please don't come in. When I went away, she came back and she told the super she was allowed in. The super was a dumbbell, let him in. And she walked around the building and she found extension cord, oil leak in the boiler, which was not true. It was an overflowing of the water feeder. Extension cords. You filed for the HVC, but you didn't pull a permit for this. She issued another 20 violations. Somewhere around 30,000 in penalties. I said, you weren't allowed in the building. She says, you refused me that day, but I came back the next day and you super let me in. Don't let them in. Never let them into your property. Not without a proper a representative who knows what he's doing. Our show is coming to an end, and I gave you my advice. Just enough Heshy@gmail.com. You can get my juice recipe. I'm losing weight. I promise you I was a size 2021 shirt. I'm now wearing, I bought my son a bunch of shirts, and I'm wearing a size 17. I don't know why he put up HeshyTishler.com, but HeshyTishler.com, go to my website. You don't see it, Instagram people, I apologize. But use my juicer recipe, email me. Thank you for watching my show. Good night. Play that music.
All in sight, 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel